Okay, we're all prepared here to install 2 new circuit breakers, and the idea is to protect the circuit board on my Kongsberg computer-based electrical control circuits in my front run box of my 2008 signature Cambridge 4. So what we're going to do is we are going to take these 2 circuit breakers, going to put 40 amp breaker on the house battery circuit and the 60 amp on the chassis battery circuit. So you can see we're gonna go right in between there. The house is on the top, chassis is on the bottom. Those large cables from the battery systems will be connected to the battery side of the circuit breaker, and then with these connectors and this 6-gauge stranded wire here, we're gonna make the connectors to go between the circuit board and the breakers. And the concept is that we are providing a better level of protection to the circuit board, because the circuit board is so sensitive, and of course if something happens to it, they're nearly impossible to replace. So just to clarify, back at the rear run box, these cables are protected by a circuit breaker, but it's on the par of 120 or 150 amps. We want to increase the level of protection by lowering the amperage to the 60 and the 40. So with that explanation, I've got all my parts put together here. I need to assemble the jumpers and mount the circuit breakers on the wall in the run box here, and then we'll be back to summarize and show you what it looks like when we're all done. Okay, we're looking at the front run box of my 2008 signature Cambridge 4 with the Kongsberg Multiplex chassis system. On the top you'll see the circuit board, and the black box of course is a computer. So what we've done is added 2 circuit breakers to the front run box. A 40 amp circuit breaker is on the top, and that is protection for the house batteries. There you see the label. And the bottom one is a 60 amp breaker, and that is attached over to the lug for the chassis. So the battery cables as designed are on the circuit breaker in the rear run box, but they are as high as 120 or 150 amps, and there's no real need for that high level of amperage coming to the circuit board. So since we want to treat this circuit board like it's our baby, because if something happens to it, they're nearly impossible to replace, we're going to put a reduction with a higher level of protection, if you would, by putting a lower amperage limiting when it's going to cut off. Again, a 40 amp on the house battery and a 60 amp on the chassis batteries. So the hardest part of installing these, we're working with the lugs and the existing length of the cables, and that's why you'll see these mounted in such a fashion. We only needed a 6-gauge wire coming out of each one of the breakers over to the original lugs, because that 6-gauge wire is adequate to carry up to 90 amps. I'm pretty sure that's what our calculations where we figured that out. So I hope this is helpful to anybody that's looking to add the breakers to protect their circuit board for their Kongsberg Multiplex system on their Monaco coach.